Imagine you have not eaten a real meal in almost a week, and the cold is no longer the worst thing chasing you. Your legs feel heavy, your stomach feels hollow, and even the children have stopped asking when food will come. Then, one morning, someone sees it through the pale light. A mammoth moving near the edge of the frozen valley. For one silent moment, nobody speaks, because everyone understands the same terrible truth without needing words. If this hunt fails, winter will not just become harder. Winter may decide who lives and who disappears. The movies make mammoth hunting look like chaos, with brave hunters shouting, spears flying, and one dramatic final blow. But the real hunt began long before anyone raised a weapon. It began with footprints, patience, hunger, and observation. Someone had followed the herd for days, learning where it drank, where it slowed, and which animal drifted too far. A mammoth was not defeated by strength alone. It was defeated by humans making fewer mistakes than the giant did. That was the strange advantage of our ancestors. They were not the strongest predators in the Ice Age world. They could not outrun wolves, overpower bears, or strike harder than a mammoth's swinging tusks and crushing feet. But they could remember. They could plan. They could wait until one enormous animal made one small mistake. Then everything happens quickly. The herd turns, one mammoth separates, hunters move into position, and the valley holds its breath. A spear strikes, then another. The giant staggers, the frozen ground trembles, and every human heart pounds against fear. Then comes the final cry, deep enough to shake the air, followed by a silence that feels almost wrong. The largest meal of their lives lies dead in the snow, but nobody celebrates the way modern people imagine. Because every experienced hunter understands something terrifying. The moment a mammoth dies, the real danger begins. A living mammoth belongs to itself. A dead mammoth belongs to anything strong, hungry, patient, or desperate enough to reach it. Blood spreads into the snow. Steam rises from warm flesh. The smell travels outward, carried by wind through the valley. To humans, the mammoth is food. To the wilderness, it is a signal announcing that death has opened a feast. Somewhere beyond the hills, something has already noticed. Maybe wolves, maybe hyenas, maybe another group of hungry humans. That is why nobody wastes time admiring the kill. Time has suddenly become more valuable than meat itself. Every minute makes the carcass harder to protect, harder to preserve, and easier for the wilderness to steal back. A mammoth could weigh 6 or 7 tons, a mountain of meat, fat, hide, bone, and danger. The hunters cannot drag it home. They cannot lift it. They cannot hide it under leaves or stones. So the truth arrives quickly. The mammoth is not going back to camp. Camp must come to the mammoth. That single realization transforms the hunt into something much larger than killing an animal. Now the group must stay in the open valley, beside a bloody carcass, while predators gather somewhere beyond sight. The mammoth has solved one problem, but created 3 others that may be even more dangerous. Protect it, preserve it, share it. Fail any one of those, and victory can still become disaster. The strongest hunters reach for their stone blades, but not because the feast can begin immediately. First, they must open the hide, and mammoth hide is not like the skin of a deer. It is thick, heavy, fur-covered armor built by evolution to survive brutal Ice Age winters. Every cut demands pressure. Every slice dulls the blade. Every hand becomes slick with blood, fat, and melting snow. Within minutes, the sharp edges that helped kill the giant begin to fail against the body they must now open. The hunters stop, resharpen, cut again, and repeat, while the smell of blood travels farther across the frozen air. Then a young hunter looks up and sees a black bird landing on a nearby rock. It does not attack. It does not cry. It simply waits, watching the humans work around the carcass. A second bird lands, then a third. To us, they are only ravens, but to ancient hunters, they are warning bells. Ravens rarely keep secrets. When they find death, the rest of the hungry world often follows close behind. The mammoth has been dead less than an hour, and the valley is already changing around the humans. No one says the obvious truth aloud, because everyone already feels it. The hunt is over. The race has begun. Not a race to eat, but a race to finish before the wilderness arrives with teeth, claws, and patience. The humans organize without writing, maps, clocks, or shouted commands. because they have done hard things together before. Some gather fresh stone flakes. Others collect wood. A few climb ridges to watch the horizon for movement. The rest kneel beside the mammoth and begin the exhausting work of turning one animal into survival. The first choice is not glamorous. They go for fat, because fat is life in the Ice Age. Lean meat fills the stomach, but fat fuels heat, movement, endurance, and long nights when the body fights freezing. To modern people, fat is often trimmed away. To ancient families, it may be the most precious part. A thick layer of mammoth fat means warmth inside the body when the outside world has almost none. Then come the organs: tongue, marrow, meat, sinew, hide, and anything else that can help someone survive. Nothing is wasted, not because ancient humans are romantic heroes, but because waste can become death in winter. Modern people value steaks and selected cuts. Ancient hunters see a complete landscape of calories, tools, clothing, shelter, and fuel. By afternoon, the clean snow has vanished beneath footprints: blood, broken stone flakes, rolled hide, and carefully separated meat. The kill site no longer looks like a hunting scene. It looks like a construction site built out of urgency. Every person understands that the mammoth cannot be saved all at once, and that realization is painful. Do they keep cutting, or carry what they already have to safer ground before nightfall? Stay too long, and predators may trap them beside the carcass. Leave too early, and food is abandoned forever. There is no perfect answer in the Ice Age. There are only choices that fail less badly. Soon the first hunters begin carrying loads away from the mammoth, not home yet, but toward temporary caches. They choose sheltered hollows, cold shadows, stone-covered places, and snow pockets where meat might last longer unseen. Each trip is dangerous, because a person carrying heavy meat cannot run, fight, or react as quickly. For the first time that day, the hunters are not only predators, they have become vulnerable carriers of treasure. The watchers on the ridge remain silent for hours, until one of them suddenly raises a hand. Below, every blade stops moving. Every conversation dies. Every head turns toward the distant line of hills. At first, there is nothing. Then small shapes appear far away, moving slowly across a ridge. Too distant to recognize, too deliberate to ignore, they watch the mammoth and the people around it. No one knows whether they are wolves, hyenas, or something worse, and not knowing makes everything heavier. The workers cut faster now, less carefully, because they are no longer the only ones measuring the carcass. The ravens circle higher. The wind shifts. The smell of blood rushes back over the humans in waves. Then another scent reaches them, faint but unmistakable. Predator, not close enough to see but close enough to fear. Nobody panics. Panic wastes strength. Instead, the group changes shape, pulling closer around the mammoth and raising spears. The butchers become guards again. The watchers climb higher. Returning carriers arrive with weapons already ready. Then a bark echoes from the distant dark, followed by another. Then several answering calls across the valley. Wolves. Not one, but a pack. Patient enough to wait for humans to become tired and careless. The wolves do not rush in. They count the humans, the fires, the spears, and the shrinking daylight. Predators do not attack bad odds unless hunger forces them. They prefer waiting until fear creates mistakes. The humans understand this perfectly, because they hunt by the same law of patience and opportunity. So no one chases the wolves. That would only break the group apart and invite disaster. Instead, they keep cutting, carrying, watching, and listening, while the sun begins sinking behind the frozen hills. Darkness will help preserve the meat, but it will also hide whatever waits beyond the firelight. Now the group faces another impossible decision. Keep working through the night or leave what remains to scavengers. Either choice could cost them food. Either choice could cost them lives. The mammoth has become both gift and trap. Then, before the decision is made, another figure appears at the far edge of the valley. It is not moving on four legs. It is walking upright, slowly, with purpose. Every spear rises. The wolves were expected. The ravens were expected. Other humans are far more dangerous. A second figure appears, then a third, then more, until another hungry group stands across the snow. They have smelled the mammoth too, and in a starving world, no stranger is automatically harmless. Today, We imagine strangers as people to greet. Back then, a stranger was a question with teeth. Will they trade? Will they steal? Will they wait until night and attack when everyone sleeps? No one rushes forward, no one turns away. Between the two groups lies 6 tons of survival. The mammoth is no longer just food. It is wealth, power, warmth, bargaining, and the difference between winter and death. Who owns it? The group that killed it? Or the people willing to help save it before it spoils? There is no law to answer. No judge, no border, no written rule scratched onto stone. For several long minutes, both groups simply measure one another. Adults, weapons, injuries, children, confidence, fear, and hunger. Modern people often assume violence was inevitable, but ancient humans knew violence was expensive. A deep cut could become infected. A broken arm could ruin a hunter for months. One death could weaken everyone. The cheapest battle is the one no one has to fight, and hungry people understand that better than heroes. Eventually, one hunter steps forward, spear in hand but not raised, offering a message older than language. We are willing to talk, but we are ready if talking fails. The other group answers the same way. Maybe they share words. Maybe they use gestures. Maybe they understand only tone, posture, and the shape of intention. Whatever passes between them, the tension loosens just enough for something remarkable to happen. The strangers do not rush the carcass. The original hunters do not lower every weapon. Instead, the two groups begin to work, slowly, cautiously, with suspicion sitting between them like another predator. One group cuts, another carries, others watch the wolves. Some gather fuel, sharpen blades, and guard children. The mammoth rewards cooperation more than conflict, because more hands mean less waste and less time exposed. This may be one of humanity's oldest lessons. Strangers can be dangerous, but isolation can be deadlier. Yet cooperation creates another problem. If everyone helps save the mammoth, who receives which pieces afterward? The hunters who made the kill want the largest share. The helpers want payment for their risk. Children need food. Elders need fat. Tool makers want bone. Hide workers want skin. Everyone has a claim. The mammoth feeds hope, but abundance can divide people almost as easily as hunger can. That night, fires burn high, not only to keep wolves away, but to keep humans calm. The groups sleep lightly, if they sleep at all, with weapons close and trust still unfinished. By sunrise, the mammoth looks less like an animal and more like a dismantled mountain. Sheets of hide lie folded in the snow. Bones stand exposed, piles of meat wait under covering. But food is not truly valuable when it is found. It becomes valuable only when it can be kept. The hunters begin cutting thick meat into long, thin strips, because thinner meat dries faster and spoils slower. Some strips hang in freezing wind. Others rest near smoky fires, where heat and smoke pull moisture away. The goal is not flavor. The goal is survival. Smoke becomes protection, and cold becomes an ally. The Ice Age is no longer only an enemy. For once, its freezing breath helps preserve the mammoth. Fat is wrapped separately, protected like treasure, because one dense bundle can power a human body for hours. Marrow is hidden inside enormous bones, food protected by the animal's own skeleton until humans crack it open. Stone hammers strike again and again, echoing through the valley until bone splits and rich marrow appears. No glamour, no feast table, no ceremony. Just calories, warmth, and the brutal mathematics of staying alive. The hide comes next, too heavy to move whole, so it is divided into enormous sections. To us, it is skin. To them, it is shelter, clothing, bedding, doors, insulation, and protection from wind. A single mammoth hide might outlast the meat by years, becoming part of homes and clothing long after winter. The bones are not discarded either, because humans see possibility where other predators see leftovers. Large bones can become shelter frames. Smaller pieces can become needles, tools, hooks, handles, ornaments, or repairs. The tusks are even more valuable, strong and workable enough to become tools, weapons, carvings, and objects of memory. One mammoth does not stop giving when the meat is gone. Its second life begins in human hands. Even the tendons matter. because dried sinew becomes strong cord for tying spearheads, sewing hides, and repairing equipment. The hunters are not stripping an animal, they are harvesting food, shelter, technology, and future survival from one body. Days later, people may return again to the kill site, searching for what predators and time have not taken. At first, that sounds strange, but a mammoth is too large to finish in one visit. Bones remain, tusks remain, hidden marrow remains, scattered hide and useful fragments may still be recovered later. The valley becomes a place remembered, a point on the mental map where survival once exploded into abundance. That matters, because a mammoth hunt is not only a meal, it can reshape an entire season. One successful kill may mean weeks of food, months of tools, warmer shelters, stronger clothing, and wider social ties. And this is where the deeper story begins. Mammoth hunting did not just feed humans, it organized them. No single person could track, kill, guard, butcher, preserve, transport, and distribute a mammoth alone. This kind of animal demanded planning, memory, roles, cooperation, and decisions that stretched far beyond the moment of death. Some people became better trackers. Others became skilled butchers. Some watched for predators. Others preserved meat or prepared hides. Children watched everything, learning not from lectures, but from the rhythm of adult survival around them. Long before cities, mammoth hunts taught humans how to coordinate large tasks under pressure. They taught that strength mattered, but organization mattered more. Courage mattered, but patience mattered even more. They also taught sharing, negotiation, and the dangerous politics of abundance when there is enough, but not enough for every desire. Every successful mammoth hunt was a test of the society standing around the carcass. Could they cooperate without destroying each other? Could they share without resentment? Could they protect food without wasting lives? The mammoth forced questions that sound surprisingly modern, questions about ownership, labor, fairness, trust, and future planning. That is the hidden power of this story. The mammoth did not only shape bodies, it shaped behavior. It rewarded groups that communicated better, remembered better, planned better, and cared more about tomorrow than immediate hunger. The humans who survived were not simply the strongest hunters. They were the best organizers of collective effort. By the time the last useful pieces were carried away, the valley no longer looked untouched. Footprints crossed the snow. Fires scarred the ground. Broken stones glittered. Bones lay split beneath the cold sky. The mammoth was gone, but its presence had changed everything it touched. It had fed children, drawn wolves, attracted strangers, demanded cooperation, created conflict, and expanded human memory. It had become meat, fat, tools, shelter, cord, fuel, stories, warnings, and lessons for the next generation. Some child who watched that hunt would remember where the herd turned, where the wind shifted, where the wolves waited. Years later, that child might become the hunter who saved another group from making a fatal mistake. That is how survival knowledge traveled. Not through books, but through scars, hunger, stories, and remembered landscapes. So when we imagine ancient humans hunting mammoths, we should not picture only a spear entering flesh. We should picture days of tracking, hours of cutting, nights of fear, arguments over sharing, and smoke rising over frozen meat. We should picture people counting calories before numbers existed, planning storage before warehouses existed, negotiating before laws existed. The mammoth was one of the greatest challenges the Ice Age gave to human intelligence. It was too big to move, too valuable to waste, too dangerous to guard, and too powerful to ignore. And somehow, our ancestors learned to turn that impossible problem into survival. They did not survive because they were stronger than the mammoth. They survived because they understood what happened after it fell. That is the part the movies usually miss. The real drama begins after the giant stops moving. Because killing a mammoth took courage, but keeping a mammoth took something even greater. Planning, discipline, cooperation, restraint, and the ability to choose the future over the hunger of the moment. The next time you see a reconstructed mammoth skeleton in a museum, do not imagine only the animal. Imagine the valley around it. Ravens gathering, wolves watching, strangers approaching, children waiting, fires burning, and humans refusing to waste anything. That skeleton is not only a symbol of extinct giants, it is a symbol of human organization under pressure. A mammoth was a mountain of meat, but also a teacher made of bone, fat, hide, and danger. It taught humans that survival was not won at the moment of victory. It was won afterward. In the cutting, carrying, guarding, sharing, drying, returning, remembering, and teaching that followed. One dead mammoth could feed a group, but the knowledge around it could feed generations. And maybe that is why humans endured where so many stronger creatures vanished. Not because we were the largest, not because we had claws, tusks, or thick fur against the cold, but because when the giant fell, we knew the work had only just begun.